The New Orleans Saints are quietly turning into the most unpredictable team in the NFL, and nobody's ready for it. While the rest of the league keeps recycling old ideas, New Orleans is building something that looks nothing like what we've seen before. A brand new coaching staff, 9 fresh draft picks, a fan base that's demanding answers, and right in the center of it all sits a quarterback decision that could swing their entire season. But here's the twist: the Saints might already have a starter and still refuse to name him. What nobody's talking about is how deep this transformation really goes. The Saints didn't just switch play callers. They handed the keys to Kellen Moore, a coach known for fast starts and fearless schemes. And he's not waiting for next year. He's already tearing up the playbook, testing weapons in new formations, and pushing tempo with a roster that suddenly looks younger, faster, and more aggressive. This isn't a rebuild. It's a reset with urgency. And it's happening so fast, the rest of the NFC South hasn't even noticed yet. But this entire blueprint only works if one thing clicks first: the offense. That means the Saints need more than just talent. They need chemistry, timing, leadership, and a quarterback who can take control. The pieces are there: Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, Rashid Shaheed, but until someone proves they can lead them, this high-speed machine might stall before it even leaves the garage. And that brings us straight into the most important question of all: what's really holding this offense back from exploding? But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Saints and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 300 likes on this video. No team in the NFC South has this much firepower sitting on deck. The New Orleans Saints have a young wideout in Chris Olave who just keeps leveling up. They've got Rashid Shaheed, who can stretch the field in a blink, and Alvin Kamara, one of the most complete backs in football when healthy. Add in tight end Jawan Johnson, and this offense looks stacked with explosive pieces. But here's the problem: none of these weapons have fully synced yet. And it's not because they're not talented. It's because they haven't had the right quarterback to bring it all together. The biggest issue isn't speed or skill, it's timing. This offense starts slow, stalls early, and rarely looks in rhythm from the opening drive. Kellen Moore knows it too. After the Jacksonville game, he said it plainly: "We've got to start faster." That wasn't just a throwaway line, it was a warning. The Saints can't afford to keep sleepwalking through the first quarter. In both preseason games so far, the opening drives lacked bite, missed assignments piled up, and the quarterback play didn't give anyone confidence. The longer this continues, the harder it becomes to trust this group when the real season starts. So now, the pressure shifts. Not to the receivers, not to Kamara, not to the line. The pressure shifts to the quarterback who can finally command this unit and turn potential into production. Someone has to become the tone setter. Someone has to take the keys and drive this thing at full speed. And that's exactly where the Saints' most unpredictable storyline comes into focus. The quarterback battle nobody can seem to figure out. The Saints have reached the final week of preseason and still can't name a starting quarterback. That's not hesitation. That's a signal. Something about this battle between rookie Tyler Shuck and second-year passer Spencer Rattler has made it impossible to declare a winner. And here's what makes it wild: both players have nearly identical numbers. Rattler has completed 25 of 35 passes through 2 games. Shuck, 24 of 34. Rattler has 252 yards. Shuck has 231. Both have 1 touchdown. Both have 1 interception. If you think that's too close to call, you're not alone. So do the Saints. Spencer Rattler entered the league last year with 6 NFL starts under his belt. Tyler Shuck was drafted this year in the second round by the same coaching staff that's now evaluating him. What nobody's saying out loud is that this is no longer about experience. It's about control. Who operates the offense cleaner? Who makes smarter reads under pressure? Who responds better when everything breaks down? The stats don't separate them. Neither does the film. That's why this competition is dragged into its final week, and why the answer might come down to something you can't measure. This is no longer just a preseason competition. It's a decision that could shape the direction of this franchise. If Rattler starts, it's about playing it safe and seeing what's left in the tank. If Shuck starts, it's about unleashing a rookie quarterback into the fire and seeing if he can survive. But here's the most important part: both of them are getting another shot under the lights. And what happens next might finally give the Saints the clarity they've been waiting for. There's only 1 preseason game left, and Kellen Moore still hasn't picked his guy. But instead of narrowing the gap, the Saints are doubling down on the competition. The plan heading into Saturday against Denver? Let both quarterbacks run with the full first-team offense. No more backups, no more excuses. This is where the Saints put Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler into the exact same situation, same line, same weapons, same pressure, and find out who rises when it matters most. because at this point, that's the only way to get a real answer. This isn't just about who throws a prettier ball, it's about who can handle the tempo, call plays on the fly, and lead a huddle with stars like Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara standing next to them. Rattler has had limited time with the starters. So has Shuck. Now they both get a shot with the full arsenal. Moore wants to see who can move the chains when the lights are on and the stakes are real. Because it's one thing to look sharp in practice, it's another to run a clean drive in front of 70,000 fans inside the Superdome. But even that decision carries risk. If the Saints rotate quarterbacks every drive, neither guy may find rhythm. If they play it safe and pick early, they risk choosing wrong. That's why this test is so important. It's not just about who starts fast, it's about who earns the locker room's trust in live action. The window to win this job is closing fast, and there's one name quietly making his way back into the mix that could give this offense an unexpected boost. While the spotlight stays glued to the quarterback battle, a quiet return might change everything behind the scenes. Rookie running back Devin Neal is back on the practice field after missing the first 2 preseason games with a hamstring injury, and his timing couldn't be better. The 6th-round pick out of Kansas racked up 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons in college and scored 16 rushing touchdowns in back-to-back years. He's not the flashiest name in the room, but he's a smart, efficient, physical runner with real upside. And now that he's healthy, the Saints might have one more weapon to evaluate before cuts hit. What makes Neal so interesting is that nobody in the current backfield has locked up the number 2 job behind Alvin Kamara. Kendre Miller runs hard but still needs work in pass protection. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has flashed as a receiver, but his rushing impact has been limited. Velus Jones Jr. has been solid but not overwhelming. That means the door is still wide open. And Devin Neal, despite missing time, is the only one who was handpicked by this coaching staff in the draft. That detail matters when rosters start shrinking. Coaches trust their picks. Neal is going to have to prove a lot in very little time. The Saints have 1 padded practice and 1 game left. That's it. But if he shows vision, balance, and ball security, he could steal a roster spot nobody expected him to grab. And if he shines in Saturday's game against Denver, it won't just shake up the running back room. It'll force the front office to start making tough decisions across the entire roster. Because once one name overperforms expectations, someone else is going home. And now we need to talk about who might be at risk. Injuries and roster shifts are quietly reshaping the New Orleans Saints beyond the quarterback battle, with key players like starting left guard Trevor Penning still sidelined by turf toe, forcing lineup changes that test depth and durability. On defense, the loss of John Ridgeway to a possible pectoral injury leaves a hole at defensive tackle, now filled by rising undrafted rookie Christian Boyd, who's impressed as a fit in Brandon Staley's system. While players like Jasheem Davis and JT Gray have returned, others including Alontae Taylor, Foster Moreau, Zach Wood, and Terrell Burgess remain out, creating uncertainty in multiple spots, and in a year of foundational rebuilding, those depth decisions could define the Saints' success or failure. The New Orleans Saints are embracing a full-scale rebuild under Kellen Moore, focusing less on immediate wins and more on shaping a long-term identity through new leadership, fresh schemes, and elevated standards. This season isn't about chasing headlines, it's about finding players who belong in the future blueprint. And that's why every rep, every mistake, and every preseason snap matters. The quarterback decision, still undecided, is at the heart of it all. Because whoever earns that job won't just be starting games, they'll be defining how this new era begins, and with such little margin for error, the outcome of this final preseason moment could shape the speed of the entire turnaround. So, now it's your turn. If you had to hand the ball to one quarterback for a do-or-die drive, who would it be? Type TS if you believe Tyler Shuck should lead this team into Week 1. Or type SR if you think Spencer Rattler has earned the job. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for full coverage of every twist in the Saints' journey. From roster cuts to breakout stars to game day breakdowns, we've got you locked in all season. Let us know in the comments what would you do if you were Kellen Moore, because this battle isn't over. Not yet.